Hey everyone, it's Greg here, founder of frameworksforfitness.com, where we provide you with the tools, the strategies, and the frameworks you need to build a strong body and a strong mind so that you can face 2021 with strength and with confidence. So, welcome back to the Silver Fox Shed. It's another roundup week. It's the end of week 2. Week 1 was a very short week. Week 2 is our first full week. Thoroughly excited to have gotten through it and making the progress that we had done this week. Delighted with the opportunity. I came out 4 times this week to do a bit of strength training, and then I also did a couple of talks on the mindset training as well during the week, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I hope you guys did too. On Monday we went back to strength training, and I talked a little bit about how I really wasn't feeling it. I didn't have time. I felt under pressure. I felt a little bit stressed doing it because I really wanted to get it in. But I made the best use of the time that I had to do the training. I didn't get to do the conditioning part of it that I wanted to do. And in that time frame as well, I think I talked a little about not trying to squeeze in the additional training programs just because you missed a training set or you didn't get to complete at the level that you wanted to do. Adding in additional training on top of your regular training schedule, it can be challenging. It can lead to injuries, particularly when you're well into a program. Probably not so much at the start, but it can lead to injuries if you're well into a program and you're increasing the workload just because you missed out. I think I likened it to a diet. You know, if you eat a piece of cake, you eat a piece of cake. It's not the end of your diet. It just means you ate a piece of cake. It's the same with this. You missed a training session, or you didn't achieve what you wanted in a training session. No big deal. Keep going. Just keep going with the next one. Have that consistency throughout. That's what we're after. You know, if we can hit 80% of what we're trying to do, you know, our program will be vastly different. Our lives will be vastly different from when we started. Our fitness will be vastly different, even just hitting 80% of what your target is. So I think that's important, not to try and squeeze in the additional activities. On Tuesday then I talked about mindset training, and it was my first mindset training of the program. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I talked a little bit about motivation and how motivation is the spark that gets you started. I did always go back to consistency, which I always do. Consistency is what is the wood of the match, as I said. I said motivation was the sulfur that causes the spark, but it's the wood that burns, and that burn is consistency. I also said motivation is an emotional connection. You know, where you can connect emotionally. It is the why of what you're doing. And then I also talked a little bit about wanting more. You know, motivation is wanting more for yourself in life. You know, and that's always good to have that. You know, the desire, the ambition for more. So that was Tuesday's talk. On Wednesday, I had a conversation with Bruce, the boxing bag here. We had a good chat for around 50 minutes. I think it was one of the longest training sessions of the week. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I took about 10 minutes to get into it, but once I got into it, it was fantastic. As I said, I had fantastic music. I was singing and I was dancing around the bag while I was boxing away. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. I did talk a little bit about stats and measurements as well during that conversation, talking about, you know, using what you have. You know, you don't need all the fancy gadgets to do the tracking. You know, I did talk about you know, if you're running, you know, running to one lamppost and then running to a lamppost that's further away is progress. You know, make your progress cues visual. You know, make them measurable, but you know, use what you have. You don't need the fancy gadgets in order to be tracking everything that you're doing. You know, as you're doing it. Again, I did talk a little bit about as well also being conscious of only using one measurement. I think I referred to like the likes of calories or weighing scales, that it may not always be an accurate reflection of the progress you're making, and that you really should use tracking of statistics that are relevant to what you're trying to do. I think that is important. On Thursday then we went back to mindset training. We went back to personal development, where I talked a little bit about personal development, and as I did indicate, you know, it is personal. That's why it's called personal development, and everybody has their own perspective on it. What I was trying to say is that you own it. You know, it is your responsibility to manage your personal development however you choose to do that you cannot be leaving it to the likes of other people to decide what's best for you, or you know, you can't just sit still and do nothing. You need to develop. You know, your life evolves, things change. You need to develop and make progress. as much as possible. But you're responsible for that. I did also say that it's a lifelong learning progress, personal development. You're never too old, too young. I said too fat, too thin, too tall, too short to do anything. So there's nothing holding you back from personal development and any stage in your life, whether you're a young teenager just about to kick off on a training program, or if you're an old guy like me trying to learn new tricks, as I was saying. There's no stopping, you know. There's no limit on learning, and it is a lifelong learning. And then finally, I think I added in that it's applied learning. It's not about reading a book and go, ooh, that was interesting. It's about applying what you learn. It's about going in, you know, doing the training. You find a training program that looks interesting and exciting, go in, do it. You know, you find a nutrition program that's going to tell you you're going to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, you know, go in and do it, you know, try it out, see what happens, you know, apply the theory of your personal development and what you're learning. That was Thursday. On Friday, yeah, I went for a run on Friday, which is the first time, as I said, since the 10th of September that I went out for a run. I struggled with the run, and I struggled after the run on the day after, on the Saturday. I struggled with it. But I did talk a little as well in that video about having multiple different disciplines to be able to go with. As I said, as you saw this week, I did strength training. I had a conversation with Bruce the Bag. I went out for a run. You know, I'm going to be doing HIIT training. There's so many options that you shouldn't just tie yourself down to one activity, unless you're specifically training for something. For example, if you are training for a marathon, then yes, you're going to do a lot of running. You know, but that doesn't mean you can't do additional activities. That doesn't mean you can't cycle. That does not mean that you can't do strength training or a HIIT class. You know, open yourself up to other opportunities. Just because you're consistently doing the same activity, or 90% of the time spent doing the same activity, don't make it the only activity that you do. There's so much joy to be got from so many different activities that you guys should reach out and look for complementary ones. I talked a little bit about that, the way cycling kind of complements running and vice versa. You know, if you are injured, swimming is a fantastic training to be able to keep your cardio levels up. I find the boxing is really good, particularly if you have leg injuries. You know, it keeps the cardio levels up. There's loads of other things that you can look at. Saturday then was a strength training day, and I think I talked a little bit about that, that I didn't enjoy it. I just wasn't feeling it. It just wasn't happening for me on Saturday, and that was kind of like a hangover from the Friday run. That my quads at the time, I just struggled so much with them. No matter how much warming up and cooling down that I did, I just couldn't get them moving. And that made me grumpy because my squats were at the start of it, and it just made me grumpy, and I didn't enjoy it. And I talked a little bit about keeping going, even though you're not feeling it. You know, just to keep going, because I did make the point that I kept going, and I hit all the reps, all the weights, whatever I had to do, I did it. But it was just literally like going through the motions rather than enjoyment. And I did talk a little as well about warming up and cooling down and how important they are, and you really should talk to your professional trainer to try and identify the best warm up and cool down for you guys, and exercise and mobility exercises that are complementary to the activities that you're doing, you know, and that is a crucial part of what you're trying to do. So that was the week that was. So let's look forward. So the target for next week is the same. We're going to look at Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday for training. There will be strength training, there will be cardio training in there, and there will be a HIIT training. I promised you guys a HIIT training. I am going to do one this week. I don't know when, but I am going to do one. The objective again is to turn up, as I said, consistently for the first 4 weeks. The objective is to turn up every time that we're scheduled to turn up, regardless of the level. However, I am going to focus more on being present while I'm here. So at the moment, I'm running around 30 minutes for a training schedule. I am going to look to increase that, make it a little bit longer, I'm going to try and go for around 40 minutes. As I said, I had one conversation with Bruce for 50 minutes, and other than that, the rest of them were all around the 30 minute mark. So I'm looking to increase my time here while I'm here, but staying consistent as best I can. I looked at my calendar, looking ahead, there doesn't seem to be anything at this moment that's going to impact what I'm trying to do, but again, I'm going to try and be as flexible as I possibly can be in order to allow myself that success. So if I can't train on a Wednesday and it has to be a Thursday, that is not the end of the world. I'm allowing myself that flexibility to try and fit things in. as best we can. The mindset training talks that I've planned for next week, I'm going to do two again. As I said, Tuesday and Thursday is the schedule. I'm going to talk a little bit about transitioning on Tuesday, which a lot of you guys are going to be looking at going, what the heck is he talking about? Primarily for office, for office-based workers who are working from home at the moment. I want to talk a little bit about transitioning between working from home to actually being in home, and maybe make you guys aware of maybe things that you're not conscious of, but are actually happening in that role. So I'll talk a little bit about that on Tuesday, and then on Thursday I'm going to talk about confidence. We say it at the start of every video, to face 2020 with confidence. So I'm going to give you my perspective and my 3 thoughts on confidence as well. So hopefully they'll be useful to you. So watch out for those next week. That's the roundup video for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed the week. I hope you took part. If you didn't, get started. Today is day 1. Don't make it one day, as they say, make it day 1. Oh, it's such a cliche, I hate it, but make today day 1. Let's get started out there and join in. Find us on the internet. Sign up to the newsletter, frameworksforfitness.com, and also find us on Facebook and on Instagram. We are Frameworks for Fitness. Love your comments. Like and share if you think that the posts are useful to people. If any of the topics in the roundup video have appealed to you, go back and find out what was. Go back and watch the original video and see the full story of what I'm talking about. Like I said here in the notes, it's just a roundup of what I was talking about during the week, and I hope you find it useful. Looking forward to getting into week 3 is what it is now for next week, for the second full week. Keep going, guys. If you haven't started, get started. If you are going, keep going. I'm proud of you for going this far. We're going to keep seeing it through. Keep watching. Please keep going, and hopefully you guys are liking the content that I'm putting out here, that's hopefully benefiting you guys. In the meantime, guys, I shall talk to you again tomorrow on Monday for the start of week 3. So take care. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.